We're live.
We're live. Good evening and welcome to our monthly work session, January 27, 2026. Meeting is now called to order at 6:41 p.m. Ms. Vaughn, roll call.
Ms. Foster,
Present.
Mr. Hikes,
Present.
Ms. Jones,
Here.
Mr. Marston,
Present.
Ms. Hubbard,
Present.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Present.
We have a quorum.
I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda for tonight's monthly work session.
Second.
Roll call.
Who was the second?
Second.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Section 4, move approval of the minutes. 4.1, approval of the minutes for January 13, 2026, regular business meeting, open session minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from the open session of our January 13th regular business meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
4.2, January 16, 2026, strategic foresight closed minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from the closed session of our January 16th meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
4.3, January 21st, 2026, board vacancy interview minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from our January 21st board vacancy interviews.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Section 5, reports, superintendent reports from our cabinet member presentations.
Yes, thank you. So first, good evening. We just want to first say a huge thank you to our parents, students, staff, and our board for preparing and communicating the alternative methods of instruction, our AMI day, since last Thursday. This planning and preparation allowed for a seamless transition to where our staff were able to provide a maximum and a mixture of synchronous and asynchronous learning on both these last 2 days. We appreciate our understandings from the entire team as the information was shared regarding the current calendar. It does not allow for traditional snow days. However, we're excited to tell you that the board has approved the 26-27 calendar that has snow days built in and will make up at the end of June for next school year. And as we continue to move forward together, we would like to thank our operations department for their work on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to ensure schools and facilities are ready to receive students. The district extends its sincere gratitude to the city of St. Louis. Through their diligence and coordination with Chief Watson and the operations team, the city prioritized the clearing of bus routes and neighborhood side streets. And through Zoom's technology, Zoom has been strategic and will be able to reroute buses through main streets for safer passage. So with all of this, SLPS will resume to standard operation schedules tomorrow, Wednesday, January 28, 2026. Yes, all schools and school district offices will be open tomorrow. We do ask you to please exercise caution. And with that, we will call up Chief Watson.
Thank you, Dr. Berry. And good evening to all. Madam Board President, Dr. Collins Adams, Vice President Ms. Hubbard, and to the remaining board and to the listening audience. Can we pull our presentation up?
Will Mr. Moss be able to do that, or do we need to share our screen? Is fine.
You can share the screen or we can do it, just which one do you prefer?
If you share it, be easier, and then Chief can just tell us when we need to go. Thank you.
All righty, give me 1 second here and I will get it pulled up.
And so as the presentation is being pulled up, I definitely want to echo what Dr. Berry said, just in terms of the collaboration that we've had with the City of St. Louis Street Division. They prioritize a lot of our schools, some of the side streets. As we know, we've had, just challenges with making sure that those side streets have been addressed. So we have intentionally, with the team as a whole, from the safety and security, facilities, and even transportation, have been going out to a lot of the schools, checking out some of the bus stops. And we've been providing that information to the St. Louis Street Division, in which we have direct contact with the director, and they have been really on the spot addressing any of those issues. So we definitely appreciate the collaboration with those partners. Okay. So this evening, we will provide a glimpse of the future readiness of the district. I will be co-presenting with the leadership team, with Dr. Dino and Ms. Donahue, to present a proposal for the 26-27 school year and beyond, and which will include, next slide, please. As we talk about our strategic values and our portrait of a graduate, a lot of the items in terms of what we will share will address each of these strategic values. Next slide. So tonight we will discuss the sixth grade transition plan. We'll talk about optimizing a career educational program. That will be led by Dr. Dino and Ms. Donahue. They will turn it over back to me to discuss the plans for the demolition of some of our vacant schools. We'll provide an update on the reopening of Hickey Elementary, and then transition to transportation to discuss healthy start times and an update on electric vehicles. And then we'll talk about our next steps. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Dino, Ms. Donahue, to discuss our academic progress.
Thank you, Chief Watson. Tonight, I'd like to share our proposal for bringing alignment to our elementary schools. There's currently 4 elementary schools, Adams, Hickey, Mason, and Nance, that have 6th grade. All the rest of our elementary schools are PK5. We propose transitioning this year's 5th grade students at those schools to middle school for next year and sunsetting 6th grade at those same 4 schools. This would provide instructional alignment within each school, since 6th grade in particular has different curricular materials than the other K-5 students, which leaves those teachers without the same level of specific tailored access to professional development and makes difficult learning if we have to have combined instruction for any reason. It also expands students' opportunities via access to electives and athletics that they don't have in their current elementary schools, and provides school staff supports where they can get subject area expertise. As you know, in elementary school, teachers are generalists, teaching many grade levels. As the curriculum gets more complex and as students move to middle school, they generally have subject-specific teachers who have content area expertise in those subjects that would allow these students to have that same opportunity. We've spoken with all 4 principals at these schools, and they support this particular shift as it will be better poised to support student learning needs. I also want to share, at the start of this school year, Siegel Elementary School had a 6th grade group, and unfortunately they did not have a teacher. They just had a series of substitutes. And so, like I shared before about the difference in curriculum, a 5th and 6th grade split was not a good option to support student learning. At the time, we provided personal contacts with each family at Siegel and provided them options to either stay or move to middle school, and every single family chose to move to middle school, and they have been pleased with their decision since then. At the time, the school, academic staff, and transportation, we all collaborated really closely to make sure that that transition could happen quickly and seamlessly. We feel confident that if this proposal is approved, we will also be able to connect individually with families about their middle school options and ease the transition for students. And now we can flip to the next slide, and I'd like to introduce Ms. Casey Donahue, our CTE director, who will talk about optimizing our SLPS area career centers. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So yes, this would be to optimize our current area career center, which is Clyde C. Miller. It holds that designation through DESE, and I believe it was built in 2003 for this purpose, with support of legislation, and that's where the funding comes from. So just to be clear about why Clyde C. Miller. So the phased approach would begin next school year. The first year impact would be the cosmetology pathway being built there with an estimated cost of $1.6 million. That's the only transitional cost we have to using Clyde C. Miller because we already have so many programs located there. So this would be, I think we want to go to the next slide. Thank you. Yeah, so we have the programs available in bold here at Clyde C. Miller. The optimization of our career center would just create more access to these opportunities for students across SLPS. Currently, if a student goes to Roosevelt, they only have programs available to them at Roosevelt. If we can centralize our resources and really create a state-of-the-art center in Clyde C. Miller, we can have something that really prepares our students for the workforce after they graduate. And again, this would increase access and equity across our district. It's very short and sweet. So Dr. Dino, I'll give it back to you. If there are any other points you'd like me to cover, I'm happy to.
Do I have a question, right? Do I have a question?
Mm.
Or is a question coming at the end?
We are in your board meeting, so you tell us how to move and we will do it.
No, I don't want to be out of order. I do have a question. I know we're looking at Clyde C. Miller for the moving the cosmetology, but and I'm just asking, isn't Beaumont set up for that also?
Currently, yes, we do have a cosmetology lab at Beaumont. We are trying to centralize our programming for the ease of transportation, access, and equity for all students. There are just a few hiccups in getting students to multiple locations, but yes, it is at Beaumont.
And to answer the question, it would not be at both locations. We are asking to move it from Beaumont, correct, to Clyde C.
Correct.
And with everything, and this is just how I'm feeling, with everything that's going on at Clyde C. Miller, I don't want everything to be central, which is fine. I don't want everything to be, this is my opinion, I don't want everything to be centralized at one school. I mean, we got Beaumont, why can't we also have one there also? And you know what I mean? Because Beaumont has all the necessary equipment there also. So, and I just...
That's a great question. I totally get it. The purpose of moving it, though, to be an updated facility, so it actually looks like the workforce spaces that they're going to be entering once they graduate. And then when we centralize these resources at our designated area career center, it provides more funding streams. So we can have our base and performance grant that goes to Clyde C. Miller for being an area career center, along with enhancement grants and things of those nature through CTE. So we can support all of the programs at one location.
Absolutely. And with that, the funding mentioned, we're able to support it if it's at CTE. As Beaumont, we will not be able to use the Perkins grants or additional grant funding for the program at CTE, in addition to the transportation that has been an ongoing issue.
But okay.
But we can certainly, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We can certainly.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying we can certainly, after this presentation, be prepared to bring to the board in the February meeting a proposal of Beaumont itself. But we would, at this time, we're asking to move that program to Beaumont. But yes, sir.
Okay, one more question. With doing it at Clyde C. Miller, when the kids are done, will they be licensed to go right into the workforce?
Yeah, in a lot of these pathways, absolutely. For cosmetology, if that's the one specifically, yes, they will have their state license upon graduation. Our CNA students also have the opportunity to go straight into the workforce. Culinary arts, they have certificates that they can go into the workforce.
They have all,
Some of them.
so they have
Yeah.
all the necessary hours to satisfy. They will satisfy all the necessary hours.
Yep. Yeah, the way we have the schedule structured, they would have plenty of time through their junior and senior year to complete all their hours.
While we're on this slide, what does the bold text indicate?
Those are currently located at Clyde C. Miller. The rest of those are at Gateway.
Thank you.
Yep. And then we would also continue to have business and marketing across the rest of the schools as well.
I do have a question, please. So when we started having this conversation about CTE years ago, the conversation was around Northwest High School. And I'm feeling quite a lot of prejudice toward North St. Louis, because all this stuff that you're talking about now, we already have all these things that are highlighted. We have them over at Gateway High School because they've been there for years, like the EMT program and the drone program and all of that kind of stuff, and the biomed program on South Kings Highway. But when we talked about Gateway High School, we were talking about advanced manufacturing. We were talking about building a new state-of-the-art school right there to revitalize that neighborhood and to offer up the students there that never had a chance to had this kind of opportunity. And I'm just wondering, you keep talking about DESE and the funding and that kind of thing. This is just not fair. I mean, we have not had any cooperation from a lot of entities when it comes down to offering skilled trades. And we keep talking about cosmetology. Fixing somebody's hair, that's a wonderful thing, but it's not paying the kind of money that we need in the neighborhood. And this community is getting ready to come up. We know that with the NGA and all the vacant land, we need skilled trades. We need carpentry. We need all of that. We need welding. We need all of those things. And
Absolutely, I agree.
I continue to talk about Clyde C. Miller. I don't understand that. That's really prejudice to me.
So I think
Yes.
oh, go ahead.
I want to say yes, ma'am. We are extremely excited about some possibilities in North St. Louis. And so today we actually had the opportunity to speak, and Dr. Henney or Chief Watson can tell me the gentleman's name, Mr. Drew, I can remember. So we are actually having conversations. I know this is a gentleman that actually met with, I believe, members of the board and also members of the community and Local 420. And so internally, we had the opportunity to speak with him. The program that we are actually going to visit through the St. Louis Foundation, where we're going to see the World of Work to get us more information about how we can bring that back. So we're certainly going to bring to the board opportunities. This is just simply, we are asking to move one program, a pathway to another building, seeing that it's been such a struggle for us to offer this program at the current location. So we're not trying to add any new programs right here in this moment. This is just to move one program from a building to another.
I just want to emphasize that having this centralized CTE offerings, it would increase access for all students in every high school. It's no longer just available to the students who attend that location. And that's really the key purpose of doing this.
And that's the very key reason why we need to locate it in Northwest High School, to give those who have not had an opportunity, to give them a chance. Because those of that school over there, you're right there on Grand with all the activities going on. That's really great. You got a private high school over there. You got all that other stuff. How about giving North St. Louis over a chance? That's all I'm saying. That sounds wonderful. Talking about opening it up and it's on a bus line and all of that. Let's give some other areas a chance to grow. And this will be fine to open it up. It's just kind of not right to me.
Dr. Berry, at the end of the presentation, and we'll need to continue the presentation, but then we do need to address the concerns that Board Member Jones has brought up, because this has come up several times about entities in North St. Louis and what we can do to be able to improve that neighborhood, the whole section of the city. So
Absolutely.
priority. Thank you.
Chief Watson, Dr. Gino?
Yeah, we're turning it right over to Chief Watson. He's next. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, so we continue to hear a lot of the community concerns regarding our vacant facilities. And we do hear the community. We do hear the stakeholders, the neighborhoods loud and clear. I would just like to take a note to encourage all of our stakeholders, community members to participate and listen to in our real estate committee meetings. They are held every third Monday of each month. The next meeting, February's meeting, is actually scheduled for February the 17th due to the President's Day observance. And we had one on yesterday due to the holiday, the observance of Dr. MLK. But it is posted on our website, and we definitely encourage anyone and everyone to listen to those meetings. And tonight, we did want to provide some recommendations for the preparation and posting of the RFPs for the demolition of 3 to 5, or in this case, possibly 6 of our closed buildings. These recommendations, they're based on just research that we've done, such as some redevelopment feasibility studies, any interest in terms of from developers, and any ongoing safety concerns surrounding those communities and even at some of those buildings. Some of the community and stakeholder engagement will guide our redevelopment decisions. And this is also in conjunction with the City of St. Louis, in which we've had meetings with the planning, the urban and planning department, SLDC, CDA, just to name a few. And as we continue to have these conversations and continue to work and talk with our stakeholders, we're looking to have potential future development or redevelopment of those areas, such as creating community gardens and or urban agriculture, looking at green space or recreation areas such as parks. For some of the facilities, if we're able to and developers are interested, it's affordable and mixed use development. And again, working with our partners with the city to develop and come up with some ways that we can better serve the community through some of the nonprofit organization and some of the municipal uses. I would highly encourage to contact our Director of Real Estate, Ms. Shamika Henry, and she can provide more information, particularly for those developers that are interested in our closed buildings. But our approach is centered on a broad participation and equity in mind. We want the community's input. Next slide.
Chief Watson, I'm sorry, can we go back again?
Yes.
A couple questions. You talked a little bit about kind of the research that you all have been doing on the front end to figure out these buildings. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that process has looked like? For example, I know the city might look at a formula when they engage with stakeholders and communities. Can you tell us a little bit more how the district got to this decision around 5 or 6 vacant schools?
Understood. So thank you for that. How we more or less came up, we have a matrix, and the matrix consists of, it's basically a way that we can determine whether or not a school or building fits the criteria. Pulling up my matrix, but some of the categories entail the stability of the building, meaning if the building, like for example, some of our buildings are halfway torn off. For example, Hempstead is one that comes to mind. We also had some information with some of our community partners, some alderpersons. We also looked at safety. Safety was a huge concern because, again, with some of the conditions of our buildings, with them being somewhat halfway standing, that definitely posed an issue. So we have this matrix. We also work with our real estate broker. They actually went by each of our closed buildings. They took pictures. They looked at, as another point, some of the marketability of those properties. So if we haven't gotten a lot of traction, if we hadn't gotten a lot of interest in those properties, that also was included in the matrix to help us come up with the recommendation for those schools that we have provided from our real estate committee to the board.
So while we're on this slide, I had a few questions. Can you share which buildings are on the list for possible demolition?
So the buildings that we have provided, and this came from our real estate committee meeting, are Scullin School, Walnut Park, Hempstead, Gunlock, Stowe, and Euclid.
Okay. And you've already touched on this, but just to we'll just reiterate, like how will the plans for post-demolition site reuse be determined?
That's definitely a collaborative effort. We have just recently met with the alderwoman in the 13th Ward just to get an idea of what would they like to see in those communities. So just with that initial contact with the alderperson, and then we attend some of the neighborhood association meetings, and also again present this to the neighborhoods just to get feedback in terms of what would they like to see or what resources we could support them in. And lastly, well, not necessarily lastly, but we also have engaged with our partners with the city, because there's a lot of redevelopment that is taking place. We are now at the table with a lot of the stakeholders, and all of this collectively, because I look at this almost as an ecosystem from the community and knowing what the needs are. With those stakeholders, such as the alderpersons, because when they do present any information to the real estate committee in terms of whether it's redevelopment or using some of the land for even if it's for like a garden, that information coming to the real estate committee, there needs to be a proposal, and part of the process includes just that community feedback. Letters of support from the community and alderperson. And then with the development that is going on within the city of St. Louis, and again, now we having a seat at the table, again, we are looking at this holistically so that we can make the best decision to how we want to repurpose those whether it's vacant land and or buildings.
And has a possible source of funding been identified to pay for the demolitions?
Yes. We have identified and still working with, particularly with St. Louis City through the CDA, where they still have some ARPA dollars that we're currently trying to work with them on, as well as due to the tornado, we do have some other possibilities with some of the insurance that we received for some of those buildings that were closed. I mean, some of those buildings that were damaged because of the tornado.
Thank you.
And Chief Watson, I don't know if you shared it, and I apologize if you missed it. Did we talk about the 6 criterias that exist for school demolition? Do you remember those? If not, we can certainly get those out to the board or post those.
Yes, I'm pulling it up right now.
And Mr. Watson, while you're pulling it up, could you also speak to the salvage material that will happen once the buildings have been demolished, and how much money the district will be saving, and what could possibly, if there could possibly be a reuse of those valuable materials, especially the brick and the marble?
Thank you for that, Board Member Jones. So within the RFP, we will outline some of those parameters for the bricks. It's noted, and it's very rare, the bricks that we have within the district and a lot of our buildings within the city, they just don't make bricks like that anymore. So part of the, as we post this RFP, will include salvaging the bricks so that we can either sell some of the bricks, which potentially would be a cost savings to the district. So just in general, it costs us about $1 million to tear down a facility. 500,000 roughly goes to the environmental. Another 500,000 goes to just the demolition. well, with some of the bricks, and there is a formula and the cost, which I don't have at my hands right now, but that in turn, because these bricks are rare, that eventually will equate to some type of cost savings, because we will be requesting that these big bricks be salvaged.
Thank you. Can those bricks be used new buildings as well?
That will be one of the recommendations that we'll have if we're looking to do any type of new construction. We will continue to make use of those salvage bricks.
Thank you.
And just to add to that, I do know that President Cummings from Local 420 did also ask about the bricks. He mentioned the marble. He mentioned the metal, the marble in the staircases, the metal roofing, and the stained glass.
That is correct. And the criteria that we use to decide whether or not a building, in terms of the status of should it be demoed, and I'll just kind of lay it out because I know you all cannot see the matrix that we have. So we have 6 criteria. One, we look at the structural condition, and we assign a point to that particular standard. So, for example, if it severely has structural issues, meaning that the roof has caved in, all broken windows, the doors are open, they will receive a high score of 4. If it has minimal damage and it can be stabilized, meaning that if you can add some dollars in to maybe salvage the roof, and or if the infrastructure, meaning that the bricks are in place and it's not necessarily leaning, there's no water coming in the basement, that will receive a score of 2. And if it's in overall good condition, it wouldn't receive any points. The second standard is our repair cost versus demolition cost. So we actually look to see how much it would cost to repair that building versus how much it would cost to tear down. So you get the demolition cost of approximately $1 million. And if it costs more to repair it, again, that is assigned a number based on those 2 factors. And then we look at the markability or redevelopment, any potential for redevelopment. We look to see if it has any interest, any market interest, if there's any investors that are interested in the property, and potential redevelopment or reuse of the property. And again, those are assigned points, 0 through 4. And then we also look at community impact. Does the community favor demolition or see the building as a safety issue? That receives the highest or 4 points. And is there a strong desire to retain or repurpose? And that receives a lower score of just 1 point. We also look at any of the costs in terms of maintenance, utilities, insurance, security, and those each are assigned a value. So for any cost exceeding over $100,000, that will receive a point of 3, and anything under $20,000, which just to note, we do maintain all of our closed buildings in terms of keeping the landscaping in the yards mowed. We do have to continue to pay utilities. We do, in terms of some board ups, oftentimes, which is quite strenuous, because we board up and then it's tore down and we have to board up again. But all of those costs are factored into that particular category. And the last category that we have is our safety risk, meaning that if we have a high number of vandalism, and there's some other factors that were shared with the city yesterday's real estate meeting that also factors into the safety of not only that community but also that school. But again, there's a number assigned to that, high risk being 4 and a low risk being assigned a 1. Once we tally up all of those numbers and get that information, that was the determining factor as to whether that particular building would be demoed. And we went through this process with our real estate brokerage firm to come up with the recommendations for those 6 schools that was just named.
Okay, next slide.
Next slide. So the next slide, it talks around the reopening of Hickey Elementary. The facilities has been really, really diligent, and we're approximately 80% complete, which includes the cleaning of and window replacing, flooring, and environmental improvements to Hickey Elementary. The RFP has closed, and we'll be making our recommendations to the board at the February meeting following our final contract negotiations, which we are currently underway now. So as you will see, this first picture, you will see some of the damaged or broken or boarded windows, I should say, and that's the picture you see to your left. And then the picture to the right shows the repairs that were conducted that have taken place for this particular room. The next slide, go to the next slide. It shows just the cleaning progress. So you'll see the picture to the left in comparison to the picture up to the right, and where you see just the gloss on the floors. And again, that's a shout out to our custodial team as well as our maintenance team, who has really been diligent in making sure that Hickey will be up and ready August 2026. Next slide. So this year, transportation has definitely been one of the key areas that we focused on. We focused mainly on stabilizing our transportation operations through a lot of our data-driven management, the data that we receive almost every day from our partners with Zoom. Some of the data points include our on-time performance, in which we get both the morning and the afternoon on-time performance. We look at the ride time, we look at the ridership, the call volume, and just the system overall. But again, this first year in just developing and getting our infrastructure set, as well as just stabilizing was the goal, in which I'm happy to report that we're above our 95% on-time performance as we're approaching the month of February. And so one of the initiatives that we're proposing is the notion of healthy start times beginning at this next school year. We have research, and there are research that show that adolescents or students in general experience improved attendance, academic outcomes, and graduation rates when school start times are later. As a part of this particular initiative, we are proposing that we are currently in a 3-tier system, meaning that we have 3 bell times. At 7:12, we have another one around 8:15, 8:30, and then our last one around 9:15. In our current 3-tier system, in order for us to accommodate healthy start time, we would have to go to a 2-tier system. And what we're proposing is that the first bell time begins at 8 a.m. and the second bell time will begin around 9:30 a.m., which is the latest. We're actually working to scale that back as close as we can, but just for where we are in terms of planning purposes, the two proposed bell times or start times will be at 8 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. Some of the benefits which you see included, but I definitely want to highlight the student safety component. As it currently is now in terms of the 3-tier system, where we have schools starting at 7 a.m., we do have students waiting on bus stops before 6 a.m., just in order to meet that 7 a.m. first bell. Of course, during this time of the year, it's dark. So a part of the initiative with the healthy start time not only means that students could sleep in a little bit later, but also when they're at the bus stops, it will actually be daylight. So again, that's just one of the areas that I wanted to highlight. Now, some of the challenges would also mean that we'll have increased operational costs. That means that we would need additional buses and drivers. Right now, we're looking at this will likely increase our buses by at least 30. So we will increase our fleet to 30, and it's a cost of less than $5 million. We're actually looking at around $3.5 to $4 million, but just in terms of our planning, we're looking at less than $5 million of additional costs. And again, if you could go to the next slide. Some other considerations that we've looked at are how this will impact our before and after care needs, which again is an additional cost to the district, how this will impact our athletics or our extracurricular activities, being that some of our schools, particularly our high schools, some of our events for athletics start around 4:30. But again, these are just some of the considerations that we wanted to include and provide as we look at the Healthy Start Times. We're also preparing to get feedback from our parents, our students, and our school-based staff, so we can get more initiatives, or so we can get more information, just around and making use of our digital platform, whether it's through surveys and or through our Parent Square. We will provide an FAQ around Healthy Start Time just to provide the educational component if for those that are interested in learning more about Healthy Start Times. And again, having that community engagements so that we can collect the information and then provide our recommendations to the board.
So I'll just add that another benefit of Healthy Start Times is right in the name, which would be student health, I think will benefit. And you already mentioned, but I think attendance will also improve for middle and high school students. How many more buses are needed to move from a 3-tier to a 2-tier schedule, and what would be the estimated cost for that?
So currently, we're just estimating that we would need an additional 30 vehicles, 30 buses. And we're hovering around, again, that number is anywhere between $4 to $5 million. And this will transition me to this next opportunity in which we've had a lot of discussions. Next slide, please. So the district has been awarded a $10+ million heavy duty vehicle grant to support the 30 electric buses, which include, with the majority of those costs, goes to the infrastructure. And there'll be more as we're still again in the planning phase, because those 30 buses that I just mentioned that could support the Healthy Start initiative could also be made use of through the electrification of our fleet. So again, with a large portion of those funds that will go to the infrastructure for the charging stations. And we've been working with our partners, which are inclusive of our transportation providers, Ameren, and a host of others, to get a design, look at the construction, the feasibility, and then we'll start talking about the implementation for the installation of those charging stations. The overall estimated cost for this project is hovering around $15.6 million, with the service provider covering those costs beyond what the grant is funding. They would also be responsible for the operations and the maintenance of these of these electric vehicles. So again, this will be one of the big pluses in terms of being environmentally friendly and going towards a smoother, safer ride for our students, and also again for the atmosphere or the environment. Are there any questions about our electric vehicles?
Yeah, I have a quick question. First, with the Healthy Start Times, would Zoom be able to handle the other bus routes that we would need?
So we're currently negotiating and getting that information. I would say as of now that we have two partners that we're working with. So Zoom being one, Highland being the other. But we are currently negotiating with the both of them to see how and who can best support the district needs for electrifying as well as operation of these electric vehicles.
And with the extra cost, I know we've been talking that we might be have deficit spending. How much would this affect our budget?
So I'll jump in a little bit here as well. It is our hope that with some of the other changes that we are making, that we will be able to come out in equal balance. For instance, I know we just talked about transporting students back and forth to Beaumont. That's additional cost. We are looking at what it looks like to have before and after care done differently, and if so, that would be additional cost. So we are certainly trying to offset it, because we are certainly trying to make sure that we are spending down the monies that are coming out of our fund balance.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you as someone who's been at a 7 o'clock school since the pandemic, fall of 2020. I'm so glad for our children and for their parents that we can give.
Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely something that we've been very intentional on. We've worked with, again, some even external researchers around Healthy Start Times. And we're looking to definitely like to implement this in ideally in this upcoming year. But just want to present you all with the information, and there'll be more to come in our future either work sessions and or board meetings.
Mr. Watson, I just want to say thank you as well, because I'm excited about the electric vehicles and the opportunity that it will hold for our district as well as our students. And I just want to say thank you once again for thinking about the start times. And I'm sure a lot of parents will be happy. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would just like to go back because in terms of the survey, and one of the areas that we will be polling the community, our families and students, is just centered around the times for whether our middle schools and high schools should start and our elementary schools. So again, there'll be more information coming out, and we definitely encourage, and we really would like the feedback from the community, from our parents, also hearing their student voice as we make our decisions, not necessarily in isolation, but we want to do it with our community, with our students, as well as with our parents who will be impacted, particularly with our Healthy Start Times. And as we start to finalize the negotiations with the electric vehicles, we are going to phase these electric vehicles in. We have heard just in terms of other districts that have electric vehicles, to some of the challenges, particularly for those regions that have cold weather, like here in St. Louis. So our phased approach will help us, similar to what we did this year with transportation, allow us to collect the data so that we can get our infrastructure set up and stabilized. So as we move forward and roll out, because the goal ultimately is to have an electric fleet as a whole. But just kind of phasing this in with potentially 30 buses, and we're on the horizon of potentially maybe looking at additional 30 more buses, which will give us 60 buses, will help with electrifying our fleet. And again, from an environmental perspective, that definitely will go a long way so that we're more environmentally conscious, and also giving our students an opportunity for electrification.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Please finish.
Okay. So the last slide just talks about our next steps. Our next steps include, which I just talked about around the survey, releasing our FAQs, our frequently asked questions, getting some communications to the community around our Healthy Start Times, and it'll be followed by a series of community engagement sessions. We'll be providing recommendations to the board through our formal consent agenda, through our board action reports for review and approval. So we will bring all of this information as we, again, continue to collect the information, do our research, and bring our recommendations to the board for review, approval, and or any questions. So this actually concludes the presentation, and we'll open it up for any questions.
I had a question about the demolition portion of our vacant buildings. You spoke of possibly community gardens and things like that. And as someone who has been a lead prevention person, I know the dangers in that, but it's a great ideal. But I'm hoping that we might solicit perhaps some designs from the community on other things that they might want to see within the neighborhood. Just say, for instance, like Stowe. Stowe is located on Goodfellow, correct? And something that makes the neighborhood look really pretty and attractive to those who are passing by versus a big empty lot. Once we would do that, a track or something really nice that they could utilize that they don't normally have, something well lit and plenty of vegetation that's beautiful and inviting. So I'm just hoping we can invite other ideas in as well, other than just gardens.
Understood and received.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Or if we consider, I love the idea of gardens and growing food we can eat, but if we would definitely need to look at soil remediation before. That would be like a good idea for people in the neighborhood. But definitely agree with Ms. Donna. And I also have a question about moving to 6th grade. So we can come back to that.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Dr.
AJ's got her hand up.
Thanks, Mr. Marston. This was to the last slide, and so maybe this is a question for Dr. Berry or Chief Watson. But the entire project is about, for electrical vehicles, about 15.6 million. We have a grant for about 10-ish, which leaves us at a gap of like 5.5-ish. So just a little clarity around where we might be thinking about getting that additional funding. And have we kind of outsourced or start thinking about that yet?
Absolutely. So those are the negotiations that are still happening with the two potential vendors. And so it is our hope and keeping our fingers crossed that we will be able to work something out to where they would be able to cover the cost on their end. And so we are still looking at that. It's not finalized, but we're hoping that's where it comes from. If something changes, we will certainly come back to see what we need to do. If there is another grant, we meet with the EPA. Mr. Poole and Aaron Kane has been amazing. So we are certainly trying to see how we can have someone else cover that cost first prior to asking the board to go into any additional funds that we have. I don't know, Chief Watson, if there are funds that we currently have that could be used. I know there's about maybe a few million left in Prop S if he doesn't already have those earmarked, but I'm not sure if those are able to be used for that. Chief Watson, anything else you want to add?
No, I think you covered it, Dr. Berry. The goal is to, while we're in this negotiation phase, to work with those service providers to have, for them to cover the cost. And we are exploring other grant opportunities as well. So that is the goal and the objective, so that we would not have to come to the board for additional costs and or with our spend balance, our fund balance, make use of that to cover these additional costs.
Absolutely, thank you. And then Board Member Foster and Vice President Hubbard, we certainly hear you. So there has been a lot of conversations, and now again, we're at the table with the city and we're excited because we agree that we want more than just community gardens locations.
Okay, I have a question if no one else does.
Go ahead.
What will the impact of moving those 6th graders who had been at an elementary school, like, what is the sort of upshot of how the middle schools that they go to could benefit? What's going to be the impact on the middle schools?
Thank you. It's a great question. I'll let Dr. Dino come in, but what we have found was that a lot of our middle schoolers, well, our 6th graders who were not 6th grade in middle school, when they did get to middle school, they were lacking some of those foundational skills for middle schools, and they were also missing out on a lot of CTE programs or extracurricular activities that are offered in middle schools. And so, Dr. Dino, if you wanted to chime in on anything that I may have missed.
Yeah, I guess from the middle school teacher and principal perspective, they'll get more students enrolled, and so their enrollment in those schools will go up. And from a student perspective, those students will be able to enter a kind of a natural social break in terms of creating new friendships and relationships and learning how to navigate any conflict that happens with middle school. Right now, they come in like small pockets as seventh graders into more established communities, and so this will really kind of help the aspect of their whole selves as a student.
Thank you.
And Dr. Dino, if I'm not mistaken, we had already like engaged with families whose students are a part of those communities already and got some of their feedback. Can you talk a little bit more about just like the community response?
So the feedback that we've received so far is really through working with those principals at those schools. We also don't want parents to feel like we're disrupting them back and forth. And so bringing some options to them if this becomes where we're moving forward. But the feedback that we received specifically from the Siegel community earlier was just super positive from all of them.
So President Collins Adams, if there are no other questions, that concludes that portion of the presentation. But we would like to respectfully ask the board if they could approve our recommendation to amend the agenda to move Ruben Brown up. Other than that, we are certainly going to come back with the recommendations regarding everything that was shared today at the next board meeting.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
At the request of the superintendent, is there a motion on the floor?
I move to amend the agenda to move item for action 9.1 concerning the Ruben Brown annual audit to immediately follow the report that was given in 5.1.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams,
Yes.
motion approved.
All right, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
No, I just,
Did you want me to say something, or you certainly can also introduce Miss Duncan?
no. I was just trying to get to my mic and.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you for approving that recommendation. And so we would like to introduce, we have from Ruben Brown, Miss Renita Duncan and Alicia. So we appreciate them coming. We do know that the audit was delayed. It was due on December 31st. However, within the last month, once we found out about the delay, we were able to meet with our auditors, and they have been working on weekends overnight with the finance team to ensure that we were able to present this to the board this evening. So we are greatly appreciative. And so without any further ado, I present to you Ms. Renita Duncan for the financial statements.
Thank you, Dr. Berry. I'll be brief. I'm not going to screen share. I just want to make you aware of a couple of updates related to the audit. My name is Renita Duncan. I'm an audit partner at Ruben Brown. With me is Alicia Barnum. She's an engagement manager in our audit practice at Ruben Brown. We are independent auditors, so we are independent of the district. We've been engaged to audit the financial statements of the district. We've been engaged to audit the federal grant expenditures of the district, and we've been engaged to perform an examination of transportation numbers as well as attendance. And that's consistent with what we've been engaged to do for a couple of years now, and we're engaged for fiscal year 25. We issued some draft reports this week. We've issued in draft form the audited financial statement document. We have issued our auditor communications, and we have issued a management letter. At this time, we are going to be issuing a clean audit opinion on the audited financial statements. And that just means that we are going to give an opinion that the financial statements are materially correct. And there are no material misstatements that remain based on our procedures. There were a number of adjustments and things that we worked through with district management over the last couple of months. We started our work back in September, so it has been a long road. But we are in draft format and we're working to finalize our reports. The management letter does have some internal control comments that the district is aware of and is working to respond to as well. And we'll be helping them as much as we can over the next several months to help implement new processes and improve internal controls. That concludes my report. I'll entertain any questions though, or Dr. Berry, if you have any other comments you'd like me to speak on.
Dr. Berry.
No, ma'am, I will just rely on the board for any questions that we can answer.
So I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the annual comprehensive financial report and the compliance report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025, as submitted by Reuben Brown.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duncan. Thank you, Dr. Berry. We just need to get the last piece in and we're done, right? We're submitting this on or before January 31st. Thank you. We move to section 6, our consent agenda items. Consent agenda items are voted on upon its entirety. And of course, any board member can ask any questions about any particular consent agenda items. We move from item 6.1 through 6.32. I'd like to make a note that within our consent agenda items, we have several large donations ranging from $500 to $5,000 given directly to schools and from foundations ranging from minimal amounts to $15,000 per school, as in particular 6.7 with a grant for a growth data for the schools, and I'd like to be able to say those schools: Wheeler, Mellicott, Froebel, Lexington, and Dewey, and then with a finalist receiving $5,000 from Herzog. So those are some key things that I think are really important.
I move to approve consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.32.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, it's just a comment, but item 618 is our course catalog. And if people haven't seen it, I encourage everyone to take a look because I think it's quite impressive. It's 141 pages long and really makes the point that SLPS offers its students a lot of options.
Thank you, Mr. Marston. I'd like to make a point of the 6.20 with Parsons Blewett is donating $887,539 to the STL plan for St. Louis Public School Teacher Training Program, and we're very grateful for that. Thank you.
I would also like to pull that into the open to the talk about it one so I can abstain, even though I'm very excited about the program.
Yeah, items for action. Is that?
So if there's a motion on the floor.
Wait, which number was that? What agenda item was that?
The Parsons Blewett, Board Member Hubbard, you said, is that the one you're pulling?
Yeah, 6.20. Wait, no, that's not it. I'm sorry.
6.16 for SLU.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
that the only item?
Unless there's anything else with SLU, but I don't think I saw any. Thank you.
Okay.
Any agenda? Any additional ones? No? All right, let's move forward.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Heights,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams,
Yes.
motion approved.
Section 8, items for information. 8.1, the November 2025 credit card receipts. And section 8.2, the December 2025 credit card statement. And these are for information. Section 9, items for action. Remaining in that section is 9.2, the December 2025 consolidated check register.
I move to accept or to approve the December 2025 consolidated check register.
Second.
Discussion? Call for vote?
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Heights,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams,
Yes.
motion approved.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn, I'm going to double check. Have we moved through everything in our agenda? As we have moved up Parsons Blewett, Reuben Brown, so.
We
We're done.
have,
9.3 and
items-
9.4.
yes,
I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, I cut you off, Ms. Vaughn.
continue.
We have 9.3, which is the leader or LDR at ADM Services LLC, and 9.4, which is the Missouri School Boards Association School Financial Services.
You know what I did? I pulled the wrong agenda. Excuse me. I was writing on the wrong page.
See, I'll go
There we
ahead
go.
and make a motion
Yes.
and then we can move into discussion on it. And I'll make them separately, although there is a total cost not to exceed that applies to both of them jointly.
Let's do them separately. 9.3, the LDR Administrative Services. That way, Dr. Berry has an opportunity to explain this to the public.
Okay. I move to engage, and I'm not sure how to say this or pronounce it, but I move to engage LDR ADM Services LLC to provide 2 CFOs to serve concurrently on alternating days at a cost of $150 to $180 per hour for a minimum of 90 days.
Second.
Discussion. Dr. Berry, I do have a question. If you could explain what those services will be providing.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for allowing me to bring this up to the board today. So on both of these, and we can certainly do them separately, the LDR services, and it's just LDR for like leader. This is also a partner with MSBA. And so as you know, the audit again was delayed, but with that, although it came out a clean audit, there are a lot of internal controls that need help, quite frankly, and our auditors had to put a lot of time in it because there are a few things that we are missing internally that we need to actually shore up. And what you'll see is that a lot of the recommendations have been recommendations for years. So LDR or services, they actually offer services where they have retired CFOs, retired superintendents that is going around, and they're Missouri superintendents and Missouri CFOs that will provide these services. For instance, helping with roles and responsibilities, the accountability process, helping us with actual accounting processes. The ask is there's about 3 superintendents right now that have been interested in saying, hey, yes, I keep saying superintendent, sorry, CFOs that are interested to say, yes, we can support SLPS. The 3 names that are out there because they have done this work in other areas, so I feel confident with saying these names out loud, would be Dr. Charles Berzil, Randy Charles, and Michael Romney. Now, we have not had conversations with any of those three because I wanted to bring it to the board first, nor have we had conversations with LDR. So the recommendation would be to allow SLPS to engage with LDR admin services for contract services for the finance, not to exceed for LDR $130,000. We would, if you would allow us to engage for sure, then start the process. I would get all the information and the contract to bring to you so you can see the scope of work and have all of that by the next board meeting. So you can for sure see the names of the people, the scope of work, and what's happening. But prior to doing that engaging, I wanted to come to the board first to ask. And I know we're doing them separately, but I can go ahead if you would like and share about the information with MSBA, or I can pause.
Thank you, Dr. Berry.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any additional questions or discussion?
Yeah, I think I'd like to vote on them separately just to make it clear, but I want to make a friendly amendment to my own motion to say for this first one that total cost not to exceed 130,000.
Yes.
Second, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams,
Yes.
motion approved.
Right. I'll make a motion for 9.4 as follows. I move to engage the Missouri School Boards Association to provide the finance department support from Pam Frazier at a cost of $150 an hour for a minimum of 90 days at a total cost not to exceed $110,000.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Ms. Foster,
Sorry, I thought I saw Dr. Berry come off mute.
I did. Sorry. I just didn't know if you wanted me to give any more details about Ms. Frazier, and just sharing that while the CFOs will be ingrained in the actual work, she is going to be supporting us with figuring out the gaps into our system of the actual personnel and being able to help us on that. And she did assist us previously with our board policies in finance. So she does know our system and understand how it's unique. Many people don't know we're on an actuary accrual system versus a cost system. So it's so different for SLPS, but she does know the inner workings. And so she's going to be more on the personnel side to support us.
Thank you, Dr. Berry. I made the assumption that we had discussed Pam Frazier working with us previously because her name had been introduced to our board and the audience before. She's been assisting us for a while now.
Yes, ma'am. Her contract ended in December.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams,
Yes.
motion approved.
Thank you. And I will get those documents to you as soon as we get them ready.
All right, thank you. We move now, if there are no additional items and nothing else to discuss.
Madam President, I have one thing to mention, then I'll get out of your head.
That's funny. Okay, go ahead. We needed a break.
I sent the email. I had Ms. Vaughn sent the email out about a resolution that I would like to bring before the board to vote on our next board meeting. So I would like for you all to take a look at it and read it, and because we want to really get these community schools in order and in process. So I just want to mention that today, so at the next board meeting we'll be ready to vote on that resolution. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Board Member Hikes. We will definitely do that.
I move to adjourn to closed session pursuant to the revised statutes of Missouri, Section 10.021, paragraphs 1, 2, 3, 13, and 18.
Second,
Roll call.
Ms. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes,
yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Yes.
We are adjourned back to closed session at 7:56 p.m.
Thank you very much. See you in a few minutes.